this is the interesting thing. People see that Cam Ward is visiting Miami. Well, it seems to me, people that I'm close to and know the situation understand it. Cam Ward will be visiting Florida State, Corey.
Yeah.
Cam Ward this is quarterback week.
Yeah.
So
okay, good.
Cam Ward will be visiting Florida State University. And so that is good news. I don't know if those are the only two gentlemen that are visiting that Florida State's interested in. There may be others, but Florida State is not just singling out DJ.
Yeah.
And there will be more.
And I think, you and I, we've talked about this multiple times. And if it came down to those two gentlemen, I think we'd both prefer Cam Ward. I think he's probably a more natural thrower of the football. He's better. He's thrown for like 14,000 yards in his career and well over 100 touchdowns. Not the running threat you would think when you look at his stats, but he can move. He's quick. He can avoid sacks. But I think that's who you'd want. And then maybe DJ is a plan B in a very good plan B. That plan B is still better than your plan right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think both of them are upgrades, in my opinion, over what you have, or at least what's been proven.
For a single year, yes, without question.
It would have been so nice if Tate could have played against Louisville. You would have really gotten to see, okay, how much has he grown? What could this look like next year? And he just didn't get that shot. And I just think after what happened after the committee, what the committee did to Florida State, you can't take a big step back next year with average quarterback play. You need good quarterback play. I think both of those guys could probably give you good quarterback play. I think Cam Ward gives you better than good quarterback play. Yeah,
and for those that don't know, because a lot of people didn't get a chance to see him play at Washington State, and before that, I think he was at Incarnate Word. And these are huge numbers that I caught the joke.
Okay.
It was well done. Yeah.
Word.
So in one of those years, you alluded to it, he had a season in which he threw for 4,648 yards and 47 touchdowns. Have yourself a year.
Yeah.
Have yourself a year. But the last 2 years, with more light competition, Washington State, he threw for 3,231 yards, completed 64% of his passes, 23 touchdowns, 9 picks. And then he also, this past year, threw for 3,735 yards, 25 touchdowns to 7 picks, and completed 66% of his passes. He's a good player, man. He's a very good player. And think about what he was working with. Now, that is not an elite offense at Washington State. You've got a very, very good offensive mind here in Mike Norvell. And you have some weapons to throw to this next year, maybe elite weapons. We'll see what all they end up with at the end of all of this. But we know what they have coming back. So if you could get Cam Ward, that's the option that I would go with. Mm-hmm. I think that's the preferred option.
Yep.
And to repeat, looks like Cam Ward will be visiting Florida State. So now you woke up today, didn't know what Florida State's plan was at quarterback. Mid-afternoon, you're sitting here going, well, wait a minute. So DJ's coming into town from Oregon State. He'll be visiting this weekend. Cam Ward's said to be coming to town before DJ. So today's Tuesday. I'm assuming he'll be here Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, one of those days. So here we go, man. Let it begin.
And you kind of I thought anyway, because I know people started freaking out a little bit when the news came out that Cam would be Cam. I'm already on a first name basis with him. I just call him Cam.
You and Cam, cool.
That he would be he'd be visiting Miami on Tuesday. I'm like, well, okay, but he's coming all the way to the state of Florida. I feel like he might make a tour. He might do a tour of the state universities. Or the universities
maybe he's just never have a reason to visit Florida.
Otherwise, yeah. Maybe just loves the ACC, but he's gonna. I don't know that he'd go to Florida. He probably wouldn't because Mertz is coming back. So, but it would make sense when you have two schools, two high-profile schools, one that wins a lot more than the other high-profile school in the state. You can visit Miami, and then you're just you're still in the same state. You're still in the same Eastern time zone. Just go up to Tallahassee and see what you like. What you like or what you don't like about Florida State. It would just make sense, especially because Florida State's interested in him. So that always thought, okay, he's going to be in Miami on Tuesday. I wouldn't be surprised if he came up to Tallahassee. And then
of course not. Yeah. No,
it turns out he probably will, or he is. And we'll see if what happens, and if even maybe good news happens even before the week is over and DJ cancels his visit.
Well, I know you're desperate to get that good news, buddy.
They need good news, man. They need good news. They need an FU.
Mired. Well, yeah, but they're not mired in something of their own doing.
I know it's like the I get it, but it's still it's like because they had this, and also they had the huge groundswell of support with the battle's end. The call to arms that came in, the call to action. I know it's still coming. And I've had a lot of friends that weren't members that are now members. Like they all got so mad about it. You just want to see the fruits of the labor if you're really impatient like I am. Like I wanted to see it 4 days ago. I get it. The floodgates will open and it'll be glorious, but you're wanting them to open a little sooner. But either way, going back to the quarterback situation, either one of those two options, I think I just want to state it again. You feel better going into that Ireland game than you would with either Tate Rodemaker, who started twice in his career, and Brock Glenn, who started once and threw for 11 yards.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what you have. It sucks for Tate. It really does. But you don't know what you have in Tate Rodemaker.
Well, when we have these
and also, I guess you would say that after 4 years, if they're bringing these two men on campus,
well, that's exactly what I was
that
about
might
to
tell
say.
you what you have with Tate, what they think they have with Tate Rodemaker.
A kid's been here 4 years, and they're actively looking out.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Listen, there's no evidence whatsoever that you should keep Tate Rodemaker as your starting quarterback. Just say it.
Right.
There's no evidence that he should be your guy. He's been here for a long time. He's understood that play. I have nothing against him. I'm not rooting against him. I'm not saying that he wouldn't go on to have a nice year. He might. He might. But in terms of a proven commodity in the college game that has gone out game in and game out and done it, it hasn't been him.
He had
obviously.
And what's a bummer is it's set up where he had a shot. Florida, that was such a weird game. He did not play particularly well, especially early.
He played terribly.
But he got better as the game went on, and then he got knocked out of the game, and then he's going to be playing in a neutral site against a pretty
would have been nice
average defense, and he would have had a real chance to make some hay. So to prove, okay, what if he goes 20 for 30 for 266 yards and a couple touchdowns, and then, like you should have been, you're in the playoff.
Yeah.
And he beats Washington
Michigan
and New Orleans or whatever.
Yeah.
He had a chance it looked like he was going to have a chance to firm up his footing as maybe the potential starting quarterback, and it got taken from him. Or Florida took it from him with that hit at the end of the game. But now, you can't. So my point being, you remember '88 when I didn't know Peter Tom Willis was any good. And then they go play at South Carolina in '88. Chip Ferguson gets hurt.
Yep.
They win 59-0. Yeah. He looked incredible as the backup quarterback. He threw for 4 touchdowns and 380 yards or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into 1989 thinking, well, we got a real guy at quarterback. Tate didn't really get that chance, which was a bummer. But also, I think we both know he's not as good as Cam Ward.
And I think we both know that he wasn't going to be, listen, I think he was always going to be serviceable at best. He might have a good game, bad game, kind of average game. You were going to have to win the game for other reasons. There were going to be other elements of your team that shined. It wasn't like he had a unique skill set. Wasn't like, see, even with Jordan.
Other than the arm,
he's got a great arm. But think about Jordan Travis for a second. As much as we didn't think he could develop into the quarterback that he became, he had elite athleticism, always.
Yeah,
always had the ability to do something special with his legs. So you knew you had at least something that was plus,
right?
And that you were working with. It was really not, Tate does have a big arm, but it's not like Cam Warren doesn't have a good arm, and he's played and put up huge numbers.
And DJ has an absolute cannon
for an arm. So it's not like there aren't guys that can match that with actual playing experience and success.
Well, I think, again, when it goes back to Tate, like, there's nothing that can replicate experience.
That's right.
And maybe he gets that Louisville game experience, and he shows that he's much better than he was against Florida. And then he gets to the playoff. And, of course, he's going to be going up against a better defense, but he plays well in that one,
let me
too.
just ask you then, though.
And we
can feel sorry all we want to, but you want to have a big year. You don't want to take a step back.
Correct.
And you have an opportunity to sign Cam. You're signing him.
Yeah, 100%.
You're not even thinking about it.
I just want people
You're not losing sleep over it either.
Right. No, absolutely not. No.
We just have to say it.
I don't think it's fair isn't the right word. Rodemaker didn't get a shot to prove if he could or couldn't do it. But there's a lot of people in this country and a lot of people playing this sport that don't get a shot to prove if they could or couldn't do it. He happened to be behind one of the best quarterbacks that's ever played here. And he when he did get a chance against Florida, he didn't play particularly well. And then he didn't get to play at all against Louisville. But we're not giving up on Brock Glenn. And that was a horrid performance. But
first ever start in college football.
But I want people to understand that too.
As a true freshman in a game that will decide whether or not you win the conference championship.
No,
you're a third string. You had no reps.
But my point being that, I don't want people to listen to this and think we are already passing over Brock Glenn on the depth chart for eternity either. He is not your best option going into next year.
It's a 1-year rental.
He might be great for you in 2025.
He could very well be, but it's a 1-year rental.
Yeah. With
an experienced team and an opportunity to make a 12-team playoff, and you have a kid who's done a lot in college football to come in, and if it's Cam Ward, you're talking about a kid that's 6'2.5", 225 pounds, can move within the pocket, buys time.
Is he that big? I didn't know he was that
big kid.
Oh,
he's a big, strong kid. So you're talking about an opportunity now to bring in a guy that's a very good athlete who has succeeded 3,700 plus yards throwing in a season. And he's done it in some big games against good teams. I know it's out west, and a lot of the audience will assume that everything out west is terrible. It's not necessarily. If you're throwing against USC every week, it is, but not Utah or Oregon.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, the point would be, I do think that they have to make the move if it's reasonable, and that's what we don't know. I don't know what DJ's going to ask for, and I don't know what Cam Ward's going to ask for. There are rumors all over the internet that these guys want $1 million and this and that. I don't think that the battle's in, or really many of these collectives, unless you're truly desperate and you have like a 1-year window that a mega booster says, I'll give $1 million to this kid. I want to see it. If you're doing this based on what your overall budget is and all, I don't know.
What a crazy conversation we're having.
It is.
What
strange.
a crazy conversation.
As I'm having it, I'm like, am I supposed to be having this conversation?
And also in the NFL, there's a legitimate salary cap.
Yes.
We know the numbers.
Yeah.
And when they get signed, we know what they signed for. In this, no idea. None. I mean, I know we have a pretty good guess, but we don't know what Riley Leonard just signed for with Notre Dame. We know he signed for something. You can guess.
I can find out probably.
Right, probably. But like,
it's
like that's such a weird. And then what the budget is, for your portal budget.
And that is
what a
way
weird
of
place we live in. But
it.
it's the truth. It is what it is. You've got money to acquire and retain talent.
Well, remember, it can't be an inducement, Corey.
No,
it's not an inducement.
This is not pay for play.
This is not an inducement.
Guys, I don't know what sport you think we're talking about.
These guys are coming here to play football because they love Florida State and they happen to fall into opportunities.
If they happen to get a deal with some business in town, that's just that's happenstance.
It was never promised to them before they got here. Who would do such a thing?
No.